When modeling parts in SOLIDWORKS, edges often need to be removed or have material added to them. This might be needed for multiple reasons, such as allowing parts to fit together, removing sharp corners that can cause an injury, or minimizing the stress on a part under loading conditions. There are two primary tools available in SOLIDWORKS to address this issue: fillets and chamfers. Filleting creates rounded edges and refers to both fillets, adding volume, and rounds, removing volume. The distinction is made by the geometric conditions, not the command itself. Chamfers function in the same way as a fillet. However, chamfers only subtract volume from a part, and instead of creating a rounded edge, they create a slanted face where an edge used to be. There are also some general filleting rules that can simplify adding fillets to a part. 1. Leave cosmetic fillets until the end. 2. Create multiple fillets that will have the same radius and the same command. 3. When you need fillets of different radii, generally you should make the larger fillets first. And 4. Fillet order is important. Fillets create faces and edges that can be used to generate more fillets. In this lesson, I will use the fillet tool to round multiple edges on this custom part. Then I'll switch over to the saddle bracket and I will use a chamfer to relieve the edge around the top faces of the part. The part shown here is ready to have fillets added. There are 3 locations to access the fillet tool: in the Features tab of the Command Manager, in the Insert drop-down menu under Features, and lastly by right-clicking a face or edge and then clicking Fillet. I'll click on the tool from the Command Manager and the Property Manager updates. Before inserting fillets into the model, I'll walk through a couple settings in the Property Manager. First, I'll make sure it's set to Manual, and for the fillet type, I'll be working with constant size fillets only. Under the Items to Fillet box, there is a checkbox for Tangent Propagation of Fillets. This enables all edges tangent to the selected edge or face to be filleted. Below this option, there are options for Full Preview, Partial Preview, or No Preview. Full Preview generates a mesh preview on each selected edge. Partial Preview only generates the preview on the first edge you select. No Preview does not view any preview for the fillets. In the Fillet Options menu, I'll make sure the options for Select Through Faces and Keep Features are checked. I'll begin selecting edges to fillet on the part. Since I enabled the Select Through Faces option, I can select hidden edges through the shaded part as seen here, and the Edge Selection toolbar appears in the Graphics area when I select the edge. In the toolbar, I'll choose the option connected to Start Virtual Face, which selects multiple edges simultaneously, and multiple edges are selected on the part. At any time, these edges can be selected and deselected manually if you don't want all of them included in the fillet part. There is also a callout that appears on the first selected edge detailing the radius value of the fillet. I'll set the radius value to 2.5 millimeters. The fillets on these 8 edges are all being controlled by the same radius value, which is listed under the Fillet Parameters box of the Property Manager, as well as in the callout in the Graphics area. I also want the inside edges in this gap to be filleted, as well as using the same radius value. If I select this edge along the top, all of the edges inside this area are selected, due to the Tangent Propagation option being enabled. These are all of the edges I want to fillet for now, so I'll click the green check to finish the command. Now that the fillets are added to the model, what if I don't like the radius and want to make an adjustment? There are a lot of edges that were filleted, which at first may seem difficult to adjust. However, all that has to be done to adjust the radius value for the feature, and all of the fillets will update simultaneously. To edit the feature, I'll click on it in the Feature Manager design tree and select Edit Feature. Now I can change the radius value, this time to 2 millimeters, and when I click the green check, all of the fillets are updated simultaneously. Next, I'll add fillets on the outer edges. I can quickly access the Fillet tool by right-clicking in the Graphics area, hovering over Recent Commands, and selecting Fillet from the list. These constant-size fillets will have a radius of 3 millimeters. I'll make sure the Tangent Propagation checkbox is enabled, and begin by selecting this outer edge on the top of the part. This selects all of the remaining outer edges on the part. since the fillets I previously added connected a lot of these edges in tangency. The previews appear to be correct, so I'll make sure the radius is set to 3 millimeters, and click the green check in the Property Manager to finish this second fillet feature. This completes adding all of the fillets to this part. Here, I have a saddle bracket that I would like to add a couple chamfers to, along the outer edges of the top faces. The chamfer tool can be accessed from 3 places in SOLIDWORKS. It can be found on the Features tab of the Command Manager, under the Fillet drop-down menu. It can be found under the Insert menu under Features. Or you can click a face or an edge, and click Chamfer from the toolbar. The Property Manager appears, and there are a number of options available to define the chamfer. There are several chamfer types available. An option for tangent propagation, parameters to control the size, as well as a couple other options to help control how edges are selected. The angle distance type specifies how far away from the edge to begin the chamfer, and at what angle the chamfer should cut through the material from that distance. To demonstrate, I'll type in a distance value of 5 millimeters, and an angle value of 30 degrees. Then I'll select the 6 edges around the top that I'd like to chamfer. There is also an option to flip direction if the distance specification is being measured in the wrong direction. In this case, flipping the direction makes the chamfer shallower and cuts too close to the hole on the top, so I'll switch it back. The distance type specifies how far away the 2 resulting edges of the chamfer should be away from the selected edge. These 2 distances can be set either symmetrically from the edge or independently from the edge. I'll select asymmetric, set one distance to 5 millimeters, and the other to 2.5 millimeters. The offset face chamfer is defined by offsetting the faces that form the selected edge and creating the chamfer based on the intersection of those offsets. This is especially helpful for non-planar faces, as it will generate predictable results. The face chamfer requires faces, rather than edges, to create, and has expanded parameter options to create more specialized chamfers. I'll switch back to the distance chamfer, and clear the selections to show the last chamfer type, vertex. This chamfer type uses a single point as the selection, and uses 3 distance values to define its shape. For this chamfer, I'll switch back to distance. Make sure symmetric is selected. Set the edge distance to 3 millimeters. Reselect the edges. And click the green check to complete the feature.